No, I'm not. I'm not waiting on Bryce. No, I don't know what his time. I don't know what his timeline is. He's his own young man now. Like he's down in Tucson. We'll see what happens this year, next year. But he has his own timeline. I got my timeline, and I don't know if they quite match up, but we see.
Hello, and welcome to the Complete Podcast Network. I'm Anthony Wilson, recording from Los Angeles, California. What you just heard was LeBron James speaking at Lakers Media Day on Monday as he answered no when asked if he's waiting for his other son, Bryce James, to make the NBA before retiring. He also told ESPN's Dave McMenamin that he's not worried about being in a contract year, and at this point in his career, he's just happy to even have a contract. And he also, Chris McGee asked LeBron today if he'd be back for Lakers Media Day next year, and LeBron answered maybe. So now I want to go back to a soundbite I played last week. I won't play it again, but in last Thursday's press conference, Rob Pelinka was asked if the Lakers would be interested in extending LeBron after this season. And Rob said the Lakers would love for LeBron to retire Laker. Okay, so, and then also last week on ESPN, McMenamin said he followed up with Rob and asked him if the Lakers would be interested in having LeBron after this season. And Rob again stated that the franchise would love for LeBron to retire as a Laker. Now, if you read between the lines, it seems that Rob is being clever in his response and choosing his words carefully, and that the franchise would love for LeBron to retire as a Laker, but only if he retires after this season. Rob would not clearly confirm that the team would be interested in LeBron's services after this season, which would imply they intend for this to be their last year in the LeBron James business. Now, that would be very harsh if the Lakers showed LeBron the door, considering his standing in the game and what he's done for the sport. But that is the insinuation that if LeBron plans on playing year 24 and even beyond, it won't be with the Lakers because the Lakers won't have him, even if he wants to stay. And this would lend credence to last week's report that LeBron asked for an extension that was denied by the Lakers. Um, you know, I think that LeBron is leaving the Lakers some wiggle room, um, meaning they won't commit to LeBron right now because basically they want to see what's out there this summer. I think they're really saving the cap space for next summer. That's the year where they really think they might be able to make a big splash. But they won't even commit, to having him, um, re-signing him in the summer of 2026. Because I think they just want to see what's out there first, and if it's possible that they could, if they could use the money they would have to pay him. If they could spend that money more wisely, I think they would rather do that than bring back a guy who's going to be 41 years old going into year 24. Right? So, and you can't really blame them. You can't. I would say you can't blame the Lakers for that. It's just it would be harsh, as I said, um, if they, you know, uh, if they were to decide, you know what, we know you want to come back, and we understand that you're one of the top. Everybody says LeBron is top two all time. I don't have him top two. I have him in the top five easily. And I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with Bill Russell. I always had Bill Russell top two. It always, for me, the top three was always Jordan one, Russell two, and Kareem three, and then I would have LeBron fourth. But having Russell that high is kind of like an outdated opinion. So, I'm willing to push Russell down. I'm just not sure how far down I could push him. But we're talking about how we look at it. No worse than the fourth greatest NBA player of all time, and likely more like top three. At worst, if we're being honest. Um, so and then of course he won the championship with the Lakers. But this is not something the Lakers would do to Kobe or Kareem or Magic. Well, LeBron has done for the Lakers is it's good. He kept the Lakers relevant at a time where after Kobe retired, it didn't necessarily. I mean, if LeBron doesn't come here in 2018, who knows what the Lakers look like in this period between on a long stretch between Kobe and Luka, almost 10 years. So he bridged that gap, and they didn't win the championship. But overall, I would say it was up and down, and they didn't get as much as I'm sure they expected to get out of the LeBron and AD era. And by the way, before I forget, AD and Mavericks had their media day today. Also, I think 25 teams had their media day today, and I know that AD he's been gone for a while, and he had to go. Right, he's been gone since February, and it had to happen. It came out of nowhere. But if the Mavericks are offering Luka Doncic, Lakers did what they had to do. But it just still just doesn't sit right with me seeing him. To see him at Mavericks media day, it just will never feel right to me. He was supposed to retire as a Laker. He's basically in this sense the I don't know I've said this before, but not to obviously much no disrespect to the person I'm about to compare him to, but they're not the same caliber of players, obviously. Although Vlade Divac is in the Hall of Fame, he's in the Hall of Fame for his international contributions. He was a good NBA player. Vlade was for a long time. But Anthony Davis is he's one of the best 20 big men to ever play, probably. And so, what he's done in his career has been great. But the point I'm trying to make is that he had to go in the same way that Vlade had to go to usher in the next great era of Lakers basketball. The Lakers had to sacrifice Vlade because they loved Vlade, and Vlade loved being a Laker. Vlade helped bridge the gap between Magic and Kobe and Shaq. Vlade played with Magic in Magic's last 2 years. But then he had to go because we had to get Kobe. And then same thing with AD, basically. We had to sacrifice AD to get Luka. Something that nobody saw coming, but it happened. And so yeah, I'm going like on a tangent, just kind of randomly there. But yeah, it just will always suck seeing AD in a Mavericks uniform. But yeah, I think the Lakers they appreciate LeBron and respect LeBron with what he does, and it would be like hella weird for a player that great to get kind of pushed out the door and told that his services are no longer wanted or needed with the Lakers. But I mean, at the end of the day, you're 24, it's like the timeline has changed, man. The timeline has changed. He's played so long that he's played into the next timeline. And yeah, but I think the Lakers would still have him back if it makes sense. If it doesn't hurt their cap, if they don't have better options or better ways to spend that money, if he takes less money, if they could retain him and still, bring in other pieces that could help the team in some way, and let him have his farewell tour maybe next season or something like that. Because, like I said, I don't. I don't think I said it, but it doesn't seem like he's ready to retire this year. I think LeBron is the type of person who he's gonna let you know before he's gonna let you know during the summer before he gets ready to retire, so that so he can have a full farewell tour. Everybody can get their tributes and stuff together. So that every city he goes to, they give him full adulation, and he deserves it. So I don't think this was going to be his last season. So when Rob says that, that's you just kind of have to put two and two together. Keep saying that we'd love for LeBron to retire as a Laker, but he will not say that they'd be interested in extending LeBron if after this season. So, yeah, man, we just have to see what happens with that. Elsewhere, the Clippers also held media day, and Kawhi and Lawrence Frank, they denied the allegations of salary cap circumvention that Pablo Torre continues to. Pablo is funny about Pablo is he didn't just make the report and then just leave it be. Like he's been at it for he just won't stop. He always has something else to report. He always has another piece of evidence that makes the Clippers look guilty. And of course, what are Kawhi and Lawrence Frank going to say? Yeah, we did it. Ballmer already came out and said and denied it. So, but it'll be interesting to see. I would say right now, my guess is that it's deep pocketed, and obviously Steve Ballmer is the richest NBA owner that there is. He's got that Microsoft money, and so my guess is that Adam Silver is the type of commissioner. Obviously, he's soft on crime. He's not like David Stern. David Stern was hard on crime, right? Adam Silver, he's soft on crime. And my guess is that they'll find that the Clippers, there was no wrongdoing or something like that. And even if they find it, there was a little wrongdoing, it was like give them maybe a slap on the wrist or something like that. Now, how guilty are the Clippers? Really, it's possible that we may never know. I think most people think that they're guilty, because the coincidence would just be like hella coincidental if they weren't. So I agree with what I think it was it Channing Frye who said, like, why are you snitching? Like, who cares about this? That's what's funny about it. It's like nobody actually cares, But Pablo just keeps going at it. And when I said that Ballmer and Kawhi should be, suspended for a year, I really just said that because that would make things easier for the Lakers if the Clippers were, kneecapped. I don't know if you call it kneecap because they would deserve it if they're found guilty. But if the Clippers are weak and that's just one less team in the West, the Lakers have to worry about. So, yeah, we'll have to see how that. I'm interested to see what the conclusion ends up being. But my guess is that they'll get either no punishment or a slap on the wrist. Although I would say that regardless of I still believe that Kawhi Leonard has no shame and no scruples, regardless of whether he's guilty of this or not. All right, now transitioning to the NFL, I'll just go through these the results of Week 4. I already talked about the Seahawks-Cardinals game on Thursday. And then on Sunday, it started with the Steelers. They beat the Vikings in Dublin Score was 24-21. The Giants in Jackson's Darts first NFL start beat the previously undefeated Chiefs on the it was at the Meadowlands. And Dart, he was 13 of 20 for 111 yards and a passing touchdown. He also had 10 carries for 54 yards and a touchdown. And Malik Neighbors, unfortunately, that was devastating. He tore his ACL. So that sucks. But, it's kind of like on the one hand, it's really bad, obviously, because anytime anybody goes down for the season, especially such a talented young player like Neighbors, that sucks. But also, now Dart doesn't have that, that safety valve, that guy that, you can just, if all else fails, you throw it to Neighbors because Neighbors is, always open. He doesn't have that anymore. On the other hand, Jack, it's like, if he's going to go 13 for 2,411 yards, what do you need Malik Neighbors for? Neighbors only had 2 catches for 20 yards in that game. So it's like if they're going to just be more of a running team, kind of like how the Eagles play, although it's going to be hard to do that with Cam Scatterbo. Although, it's funny because Saquon Barkley's been playing like Cam Scatterbo this season, actually. But, yeah, if they're going to be more of a running team that just tries to, patch wins together, you don't really need Malik Neighbors. So that's one, I guess if you could even call it a silver lining. Then you have the Texans. They beat the Titans 26-9, so they finally got a win. Thank goodness for them. The Falcons beat the Commanders, although the Commanders were without not only Jaden Daniels, but also Scary Terry McLaurin. As my boy Drake London had 8 catches for 110 yards and a touchdown, and Bijan Robinson continues to be maybe the best all-around back in football. The Bills beat the Saints to move to 4-0. As Josh Allen, he's the defending MVP, and he's not really doing anything so far to suggest that he shouldn't repeat. The Eagles beat the Buccaneers 31-25. So they moved to 4-0. Jalen Hurts continues to be average. And as I said, Saquon Barkley, through 4 games, only averaging 3.1 yards per carry. And yet the Eagles are still 4-0. So that just goes to show you how good the Eagles are. I think the Bucs were without Mike Evans, though. So the Bucs should be fine. The Lions beat the Browns 34-10. Dylan Gabriel came in for Joe Flacco, and Shadur Sanders looked disappointed on the sidelines. Amon-Ra St. Brown caught 2 more touchdowns, so he has 6 touchdowns already this season. St. Brown is something else, man. To be a guy that size, catching all those touchdown passes like that, you usually don't see guys that his size catching a lot of touchdown passes like that. He's a special player. Then the Patriots beat the Panthers 42-13, so the Patriots are starting to look. By next year, the Patriots could be a problem under Mike Vrabel, with Drake May continuing to improve. Stephon Diggs has 6 catches for 101 yards, so good for him. The Jaguars went into San Francisco and beat the 49ers 26-21. So the Jaguars are 3-1. Travis Etienne had 19 carries for 124 yards and a touchdown. Brock Purdy was back for the Niners, and they lost after winning the last 2 with Mac Jones. So that's that. The Rams beat the Colts 27-20. Um, Man, it's a good looking Colts team, bro. They just seem to have a complete team in Daniel Jones. So he was 24 for 33 for 262 yards, a touchdown, and two interceptions. But uh, overall, I think the Colts still look good. They had, of course, the play with Adonai Mitchell uh, was running into the end zone for a touchdown, and then probably the most dreaded play in football when the guy uh, bobbles or mishandles or fumbles the ball out of the end zone before crossing the goal line. And that's how if it weren't for that, the Colts at least would have gone to overtime. Instead, the Rams were able to come back and get the victory. And Matthew Stafford threw for 375 yards and three touchdowns. Puka Nacua had 13 catches for 170 yards and a touchdown. So he has 503 receiving yards through 4 games. And in year 3 for him, what's his yards per reception? I don't see it. But yeah, he continues to play. Right, I saw somebody talk about how Matthew Stafford, the seasons that receivers put up playing with Matthew Stafford, like you had the Calvin Johnson year where you had like 1,900 yards. You had the year that Cooper Kupp had when the Rams won the Super Bowl, 1,900 yards, and maybe Puka Nacua. He's on pace right now to break that record. Then you have okay, so this is the one I really want to talk about. The Chiefs beat the Ravens 37-20 at Arrowhead. Patrick Mahomes threw 4 touchdown passes for the first time in a while, and you can just you can see the Chiefs. It's coming together, man. As bad as it looked the first 3 weeks, they looked that good on Sunday. Xavier Worthy was back after getting hurt in the first game of the season. He had 5 catches for 83 yards. Hollywood Brown, Juju, Isaiah Pacheco, and Tyquan Thornton caught the touchdown passes. And so Rashee Rice not even back yet. I think he'll be back after week 6 or after the 6th game anyway. And even without him, they look so different. It's like Xavier Worthy was like the missing piece. So once Rashee Rice gets back, man, they're gonna be. It seems like as long as they have 2 out of the 3 between Worthy, Brown, and Rice, they're gonna be a dynamic offense. If this game on against the Ravens was any indication, and if they have all 3, man, shoot, even 2 out of 3. But if they have all 3, the Chiefs are gonna be tough to beat. And I could even see Patrick Mahomes, getting back in that MVP discussion and putting up Patrick Mahomes like numbers in, which he hasn't the last couple of years. And I know, I talked about the Chiefs' schedule last. I think after week 1, I think I talked about it, and it is a tough schedule, but the Chiefs are the Chiefs. If they're right and they're clicking on all cylinders, it doesn't matter who they're playing. They're going to be the favorites, at least in the AFC. So, things are starting to look up just like that for the Chiefs. Then you had the Bears. They're able to win by a point in Las Vegas. When the Raiders, I thought Pete Carroll, I thought they should have tried to. I think it was a 4th and 2. I forget how long that last field goal attempt was. How long was that field goal attempt? It was a 54-yard field goal attempt, and it got blocked, and the Bears escaped with a victory in Las Vegas. And I just feel like Pete should have. They should have tried to pick up those extra couple yards to get closer, because I knew that Carlson wasn't going to make that field goal, and then you still leave the Bears uh, time left on the clock, even if he does make it. So that was some mismanagement there by Pete, I would say. But again, for any Ravens fans listening to this, it's like I said, year one for the Raiders is always year one under Pete Carroll, going back to the USC days. It's always the reset the culture, establish the culture, establish a winning culture, a winning mentality. So that's what he's doing now. And they lost this one close. And I do think they have to. Like Geno Smith was 14 out of 21 for 117 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. And I think that they're going to. I said before that they're going to have to figure that situation out. Geno Smith is the type of quarterback. He can get you 8 or 9 wins, but I don't think that he's not going to. You're not going to make a conference championship game, I don't think, with Geno Smith. So they're going to have to figure that out. Right now they have Geno, and I expect Pete at some point to try to upgrade at that position, likely through the draft. Ashton Jeanty, now Geno Smith is good, don't get me wrong, but I just don't think he's good enough. Ashton Jeanty, who people are already calling a bust, he had 21 carries for 138 yards and a touchdown. He also had 2 touchdowns receiving. So once again, the people tried to write this man off after 3 games, and he bounced right back. So shout out to him. And as far as the Bears, they're 2-2 now. 2-2. They've won 2 straight games after beating the Cowboys last week. And next up, they got the Commanders, the Saints, the Ravens, the Bengals, the Giants. I mean, if the Bears are any good, these are some winnable games. It's really not until they play the Steelers are 3-1, and I like the Steelers. But it's not until they play and if Lamar is back, you would expect them to beat the Ravens. But that's not until the 26th. They have a bye actually coming up after this week, the Bears, if they play the Commanders. But these are some winnable games. And if they can pick up steam and continue to improve throughout the season, who knows what could happen. If they play the Eagles on November 28th, and for the Packers, the Browns, Packers again, the Niners, the Lions. So we'll just have to see how they do. And then last but not least, you had the Sunday night game, which was excellent. Probably the best game ever to end in a tie. The Packers and Cowboys, they played to a 40-40 tie. And Michael Parsons recorded a sack in his return to Dallas. But in the end, Green Bay was able to kick a field goal with a second left in overtime to at least get the tie. As Jordan Love threw for 337 yards and 3 touchdowns, and Dak Prescott threw for 319 yards and 3 touchdowns. So it was an immaculate back and forth contest that unfortunately ended in a tie. George Pickens had 8 catches for 134 yards and 2 touchdowns. Javonte Williams had scored a touchdown. So the Cowboys 1-2-1 now. Green Bay 2-1-1. And the Cowboys were without CeeDee Lamb. I told you the Cowboys will be fine. They don't need CeeDee Lamb. You don't need a 1A receiver to be a contender. And they were still able to put up points today. All right, so before I get out of here, just a reminder to hit that subscribe button next to the Complete Podcast Network, and to follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at TC Pod Network. You can also send feedback and mailbag questions to CompleteLakersPodcast at gmail.com. I am out.